Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for A Star Is Born, and with me today is my stunt double, my good friend Eli Copperman. Say hi.
Hey there, Anthony. It's good to be back here again. We're looking at the 70th anniversary of yet another Looney Tunes cartoon set in Hollywood, albeit one relating to the characters as actors or stars or whatever they were called back in the day.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like breaking the reality of a situation where we see how these cartoons are made, supposedly. But in any case, just a few bits of info to get underway. So as mentioned, this is a review for A Star Is Born, released on the 15th of September 1956. It's the 780th in the series, and it's directed by Freleng. You can find this beautiful restoration on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 5 DVD set. As the time of this recording, it has not made the leap to a high-definition physical media release yet. It may be on some obscure disc, I don't know, but obviously if that changes, I'll update the description. It is under copyright, so you won't find this on YouTube unless Warner Brothers themselves choose to upload it. But in case you haven't seen this one, we hear that Bugs Bunny is getting interviewed. Daffy Duck, who seems to be a janitor, he's had enough, he wants to be a star, and sure enough, he's able to get a job acting as Bugs' stunt double, and yeah, he ends up not getting exactly the best out of it. Let's put it that way.
Not at all.
We're basically at that point in time where he's pissed off Daffy, and he is automatically going to lose, always. And I guess for those who are critical of these ones, that's a fair point. If you know he's going to lose all the time, I guess the creativity lies in how is he going to lose all the time.
I was going to say, I'd argue like in this short, it feels a little bit cathartic considering that Daffy is so adamant to get some kind of acting position that he'll do what it takes to get some kind of scenery, which for all intents and purposes, the stunt doubles in filmmaking do deserve a lot of credit. All those crazy action set pieces and crazy stunts you'd see in movies, a lot of people risking their lives just to entertain people who don't even know anything about the entertainment process. And that's dedication for you.
And this is a wonderful short. Again, it's to do with the fact that we see the quote-unquote behind the scenes of how our favorite anime shorts are made. And first I'll get the title reference out of the way, and many of you may not know this, but A Star Is Born, that's a parody of A Star Is Born. Now, there was a 1954 film from Warner Brothers, hugely popular, starring Judy Garland and James Mason, so that's what the parody was. This is not the first time Freleng's done this, though. Freleng made a short called A Star Is Hatched from 1938, and I believe that's the last released before he went to MGM at the time.
Yeah.
But that is a parody of the 1937 version.
It's a pretty charming short.
It is indeed, and A Star Is Born, there's countless of other adaptations as well. You got the latest one would be the 2018 film by Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, and there's even the version with Barbra Streisand. Apparently they tried to get Elvis Presley in that film. I mean, imagine if that happened. We need to find an alternate dimension where he was actually in that film.
Would have been fascinating given it came out the year before he died.
But he might have gotten cleaned up and he might have lived longer. It's one of those what-if mysteries. But putting that aside, you hear in the beginning, Lolly.
Stop in, Lolly. Is there anything I can do for you?
So Louella Parsons, that's a reference to the gossip at the time, and she would write a lot of articles for gossip magazines, and it's very, very popular at the time, or unpopular, depending on what side you are with her, I guess. It's not the first time this has happened. She interviewed Bugs Bunny in A Hair Goes in Manhattan, and in this short, she's voiced by June Foray, but she was voiced by someone else in the other short.
I think it may have been Francis Baruch, although Barrack, whatever.
It is, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Keith.
Her rendition of the voice is fine. I find June Foray, her voices are fantastic. She's got a wide range, but I much prefer her doing her own thing than imitating someone else, but that's just me.
Either one is fine, especially if you don't even know who Louella Parsons is.
Yeah, exactly. It's just for anyone else watching this, if they don't know who Louella Parsons is, just some random person interviewing Bugs. What's also interesting is that this is one of two shorts that have the four characters of Bugs, Daffy, Elmer, and Yosemite Sam, with the other one being This Is a Life. And they wouldn't do this again until decades later in a different run of cartoons, but in the Golden Age, it's only two shorts.
Yeah. Although, considering that those were all done by Friz Freleng, I think with the exception of 1 or 2 cartoons, every Yosemite Sam appearance was done by Friz Freleng. So, yeah, there's no way you would have seen that outside of the Frizz's filmography.
Exactly. And this was even remade during the late 60s. There's a short with Daffy and Speedy called Road to Stardom. Same idea. Speedy's already a star. Daffy says, no, I can be a star, and ends up being a stunt double. And yeah, if you watch that one, and I just had a brief look through, you can definitely see all the shortcuts that they were doing to save on costs, I guess.
Definitely this premise and even some of the gags were reused in a Roland and Ratfink short, Say Cheese Please, and one notable similarity between those two is actually the makeup gag. The iconic makeup that everyone would remember the short for, that would be done by Daffy here. And in the Roland and Ratfink short, well, who else but Ratfink would be doing that? And that short is okay as far as taking other ideas from older cartoons go. There's a really funny moment where Roland tries to open up a parachute, it opens up, and then Ratfink falls down around the same time. If you take that bit out of context, it's hilarious.
This trope is done to death. There's even a Flintstones episode where they do the exact same thing, where I'm going to be a star. They get onto a film because they were looking for some sort of a sap to actually take over the fact that to be someone's stunt double and go from there. So this is not the first time. This is not the last time. It's just a good idea. It's just how it's executed is the big question. And I think in this one, it's executed quite well.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even see this one until the Golden Collections. Again, this was not shown on TV much for me. I just never really saw it for whatever reason. But now that I've seen it, honestly, this one's a nice one. It's not Friez's stronger efforts. He does rely on retreads, and there's a few gags in here that's just very similar, and I will point them out as we go through the short. Did you see this one growing up, or did you just see it in the Gold Collection?
Yes and no. I didn't grow up on it from like when I was like a really, really little kid, but I did grow up with it on the Volume 5 Golden Collection box set. That's how I know the makeup gag so well. And this has my personal favorite rendition of the gun and bow tie gag that Friz used a couple of times. The way it's handled in this short, it's just been ingrained in my head for many, many years.
We could go on and on about the whole greedy, selfish, pissed off Daffy. It is what it is. It's going to be like this from here until the end with a few other minor bright spots. I think Poughkeepsie does a little bit of wackiness here and there, but aside from that, no. We're deeply into angry Daffy territory right now. I like the opening titles. We got the usual Friz Freleng crew by now, just the 3 animators, Arthur Davis, Jerry Chinicki, Virgil Ross, Holy Pratt layout. So this is the team that Friz has worked with for a while now, essentially, with minor differences because of the shutdown. But anyway, I like the added touch, though, where we pan over and we see that Friz Freleng's the director and it's a literal director's seat.
Yeah. Friz Freleng not only directed this short, he put his own fingerprints on it, more or less, obviously.
The trailer that Bugs Bunny is in, it's got the added touch of that carrot on the top. Bugs is clearly a star here, he's being interviewed, and I just love that coy animation of him saying, oh, I don't think they want to hear about little old me, do they?
Thing I can do for you is...
Well, Bugs, the readers of my column would love to hear about your success.
Oh, why would anyone want to read about little old me?
These ideas here seem to extend from This Is a Life, where it's the same thing where Daffy's all like, yeesh, this guy just is so full of himself, isn't he?
His motivations are primarily driven by ego and selfishness, but at the same time, I can kind of understand where he's coming from here.
I guess he's maybe a failed actor or something, I don't know. This is the origin story of how Daffy became a movie star or something. He was originally a janitor and then got into a film called The Duck, and that's it. And then, yeah, moved up from there.
It's so nice of you, Lolly, but... Listen to that ham putting it on. Well, I'm willing to do anything my public demands. Anything my public demands. Anything my public demands. That does it. If a long-eared rabbit can be a star, so can a duck.
Alright, so he's pissed off, we established all that, and we see the casting agent, which some might think, is this Jack Warner or not? It's not. Jack Warner had a pencil-thin mustache or whatever, but this seems to be a parody of someone, and I can't seem to find out who it is, if it is indeed a parody, so if you have any ideas, definitely let me know.
He definitely could have been inspired by Jack Warner because, at least during this time period, Jack Warner was actually getting more involved in the production of everything.
But if you guys do yourself a favor and watch it and be patient, yeah? I know short form videos have taken a toll on many people's brains in terms of their viewing capacity. In fact, you know what? If you can see it in a theater, if there's a showing, definitely go and see it. It's a magnificent film. In this room here, I'm looking at the background, that small picture of Bugs Bunny being the star there, but I'm wondering the man and woman on the wall there, if they're supposed to be referencing anyone or just generic people. Probably just
Maybe it
generic
could.
people.
Well, maybe it could have been a caricature of one of the crew members or something.
Yeah, I know we need a double on the Bugs Bunny picture. But where can I get anyone stupid enough to take the job?
Okay, boss, hang up. A star is born, and that star is me.
Daffy's making his case that he can actually be a major star. The casting agent conveniently doesn't mention that it's for a stunt casting, so, there is that. Daffy does mention the line, "Have Tux Will Travel," and that's a play on the very popular TV show at the time, "Have Gun Will Travel."
Pigeon? I'm not a pigeon. I'm a duck. D-U-K, duck. Loaded with talent. Do card tricks and impersonations. I work at weddings, bar mitzvahs. Have Tux Will Travel.
And you may know the Three Stooges movie, "Have Rocket Will Travel," which is also a parody, but, that's beside the point. So, all these little references that just sprinkle around, you don't even need to know that, but, okay.
I didn't know, though, that Daffy does bar mitzvahs. I wonder if that's a slight reference at not even Friz Freleng and Mel Blanc being Jewish, but Daffy himself allegedly being Jew-coded, so
Who knows?
slight little unintentional reference?
Or maybe he's just willing to do anything for money.
Well, he is greedy.
Exactly, at least at this point. But we've set everything up. It's 2 minutes in. Now we all know what it's going to be about. That he's going to be the stunt double and he's going to fail. And how is he going to fail? Well, let's find out.
He may have been inspired by the then well-known Hollywood director Michael Curtiz, right? Which, who knows if that was actually the case. Although, for those who don't know, Curtiz did direct two of Warner Brothers' biggest pictures from back in the day, The Adventures of Robin Hood and Casablanca. Whether or not it was intentional, it's definitely an inspired choice.
Casablanca? Very obscure film. No one's ever heard of that one before.
Oh, dang it.
So he's dressed as a bunny, which I don't know why he's not questioning that, but I guess, again, he's greedy. He wants the money, so of course he's going to do that. And we see they're filming a Yosemite Sam short. That's a nice little way to start. They're in the Western, so Sammy, again, he's back in his Western gear. He's gone back to basics for that.
Especially with how many times that Yosemite Sam would play dress-up in a lot of his appearances.
What's up, Doc?
All right, Rabbit. Say your prayers. I'm gonna blast you. Cut. Bring in the double.
The thing about this as well is I like the fact that he feels like he deserves to be a star, and yet nothing here shows us why he's good enough to be a star, because he's reading the script, he keeps forgetting his lines, and he would say his lines in the worst possible way whenever the cameras are rolling. The fact that he's such a bad actor as well, and yet he's entitled.
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Double on the set.
I guess that reminds you of certain people in society today.
I'm sure there's plenty of arrogant actors who think they're better than they actually are.
Okay, he's doing his line, and he even says proudly to the director, "I know all my lines." It's just one basic line, but he still has to glance over at his script briefly.
What's up, Doc?
All right, Rabbit. Say your prayers. I'm gonna blast you.
I dare you. I dare you.
Which I have to say, if you can't even remember something as basic as 3 words, then good luck getting any future gigs in stunt acting, Daffy.
The whole "I dare you" line. And again, once the cameras roll, his delivery is just very, very poor.
Oh, it's extremely poor.
I hate to say it, Daffy, but I think you deserve to have your beak blasted off for that poor line delivery right there. I mean, that was atrocious. But we also start a running gag, which is... Makeup!
Makeup!
Now we're going to get a bit of variety. So Yosemite Sam's out of the picture, and now we're going to be shooting an Elmer picture all of a sudden. And this involves Elmer needing to chop down a tree. Daffy's going to hijack a scene and be Elmer all of a sudden, which is, he really wants to be a star, doesn't he? This is such a weird scene.
Putting aside the cartoon logic, if this were like a bit more serious, Daffy would have been fired immediately for doing that.
Now, in the next scene, Elmer, you saw off the branch Bugs is sitting on. Saw him down, eh? Psst, Elmer.
Okay, roll him.
They must have really been so desperate for a stunt double for Bugs where they're like, you know what, just leave him. We need him, so just leave him.
In fairness, that might actually add on to one slight detail. Not only does Bugs inform, at least who he thinks is Elmer, to not saw the branch all the way through, but you'll notice that when Daffy is telling him his little spiel just before he saws the branch, Bugs is just held in that still pose, and he doesn't look even remotely shocked.
Remember, Elmer, you're not supposed to cut the limb all the way through. Ha! Goodbye, Rabbit. You're gonna be a falling star.
So he already kind of knows that, yeah, if you actually do saw through the whole thing, you're gonna fall, not me.
Daffy takes over Elmer's role and proceeds to chop down a tree, presumably wanting to kill Bugs to take over his role. I don't know. But Bugs rightfully says, yeah, don't saw all the way through, but Daffy being Daffy at this point, proceeds to ignore him and the tree falls down, which... and the director says...
Okay, print it.
wonderful way to end that scene. It's a great scene.
Print it.
Yep, that's it. I was mentioning before about repeated gags. There's one slight repeat here involving Bugs fishing. And I like that we get a twist in the formula where Daffy's like, okay, you're doing the easy thing, I'm going to do the easy thing, and proceeds to get swallowed by a fish.
Camera, action.
What a cinch this scene is.
If you are trying to think where you saw this before, there's a similar thing in Sandy Claus where Sylvester gets swallowed by that giant fish where he's fishing in the beginning. Same idea. It's not a direct lift, but it's pretty close.
Oh yeah, it's mostly the same gag, albeit in a completely different setup. Same punchline, but different setup and different context.
And once again, we end with the good old...
Makeup!
So now we see another repeat. So, this whole gun gag. We're shooting another scene here involving Elmer and Bugs. So, Elmer's chasing after Bugs Bunny, and he puts the gun through the hole, and the other hole brings up the gun. We've all seen this gag before, and we'll see it again, because it'll be repeated again. It's one of those go-to gags of Freedom Warren Foster. Does it make it bad that it's repeated? No, but you've definitely seen it.
Yeah, if anything, the timing and delivery is what makes it slightly different. As I've mentioned before, this is my personal favorite rendition. It's also aided by a really funny pose and squeal from Daffy when he first has the gun pointed at him. It gets a tiny bit of a chuckle. Based on the timing and the drawing, I wonder if that scene was done by Art Davis. He was known to do a lot of very broad drawings, especially during this period.
Because also, I think Art Davis looks like he does that scene. Looks very...
Yeah, that's what
just
I'm
way it's
wondering.
animated. But yeah, I love that squeal he does once he actually ends up shooting himself. Because it's the whole thing where it's like, this is not actually my gun, because it's got a different bow tie, even though the bow tie has changed. And yeah, what do we end with again?
Makeup!
Makeup!
For those of you who know how films are made, I think this is absolutely hilarious how this scene breaks down.
I am a little confused as to why they'd have Bugs fly in the air. Wouldn't it have been a bit more practical if they shot his interior scenes in a studio, like interior space? But then again, it's a cartoon. You can get away with that.
Why would they send someone who's not a pilot to literally learn about flying on the job, so to speak?
Come on, I know you gotta rush this film out, but come on. Even actors gotta be somewhat prepared in advance.
I believe it also reuses that same idea from Hairlift, where literally Bugs he's got the plane in the air and he's learning how to fly, and he's trying to figure out the actual controls, and we see this whole control panel as well.
I wonder if they also reused that background.
It seems like they reused the background from that short, but in any case, it's still the same idea. So they're outside, they're filming this scene where, with beautiful cartoon logic, the plane just doesn't crash. It just stays in midair like that, and Bugs and Daffy swap.
And unlike in Falling Hair, it didn't run out of gas. It's an automatic cartoon logic airplane.
Camera, action!
And we end once again with Daffy saying, we get a nice, wonderful ending here where Daffy's fed up, and sure enough, there is a script for him. The Duck. Why is it called The Duck? It's, very, I don't know, maybe it's an art house film.
It's a working title.
Daffy, without even reading the script really, he just says, yes, I'll do it. I want to be a star that badly. The line delivery here, because Mel Blanc was such a professional and he was such a great voice actor, to act bad and convincingly bad, it always impresses me, and he does so well here.
In more cases than one, you have to be a really good actor to deliberately act bad.
Which is the whole line of, I wonder where all the hunters are today.
I wonder where all the hunters are today.
Camera, action!
I wonder where all the hunters are today.
And we see the hunters show up, shooting him. Why would there be live ammunition? I don't know, but I guess the director's going for realism here. And who wrote the script? Well, I'd love to tell him, but...
You know what? Funny enough, I did think it was a little weird that Daffy wouldn't know who the screenwriter was, but as you mentioned earlier, considering that he immediately grabbed it, maybe he didn't even bother reading it to begin with. He's just that desperate to be in the spotlight.
And we end right there.
You could argue that this short film is a bit of a, maybe not intentional commentary on Bugs' stardom, but arguably speaking, a commentary on how inflexible Bugs was at that point in time. By this point, the Bugs and Daffy dynamic had grown so strong that if they were to do any sort of commentary on Bugs' inflexibility as a character, then why not pair him up with his ultimate arch rival?
But this one, is it one of Bruce Freleng's finest shorts? No, but I always get a kick out of these behind the scenes, how they really make these animated shorts like they're real live actors when, of course, it's all animated. I always get a kick out of them. Yeah, we've seen a lot of these gags before. Whatever. A lot of people wouldn't have known these. People didn't binge it at the time, so I gotta take it on its own merit. But this one's fun. I think it's just a fun short. This one gets 8 out of 10.
Same here. I'm giving it a very solid 8 out of 10 as well. It gets the job done great, and I'm still quoting a lot of the lines from this cartoon to this very day. Is it a cartoon I'll go out of my way to watch every single day? Absolutely not. It's no Busy Bakers.
Or Buddy's Bearcats.
Yeah, let's be real. But all things considered, it's still a very fun short as far as getting to see the studio experiment with the characters and their growing popularity at the time. And granted, we're going to get a real zinger with 1957 in terms of showbiz Bugs, but for now, this'll do.
100%. But that will do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.
Thank goodness. Now, who wrote the script for this video?
Clearly no one.
I demand to know who wrote this script. I'd like to tell him, but modesty forbids.